Hi, I'm Tom Brady. I'm the director of DoDEA, and as you well know, we've had number one priority in this agency in the last 6 months, and that's to implement our college and career ready curriculum. And we've talked about this, and I've heard that we've talked about this for a long, long time, but I know how important it is for our students to have nationally recognized standards. And I also know how difficult and complex an issue it is. And so what I thought was the most important thing was to start successfully and begin with a smaller piece of the larger puzzle, which is pre-K through 5 mathematics. And you all are outstanding experts in mathematics, and you've been engaged in the last month, 6 weeks, on helping to prepare the rollout for the rest of DoDEA. And so what I'd like you to do now is, just for the viewers, is to introduce yourself, and then I'd like to follow up with some questions on how your work will impact student achievement within DoDEA. So if we could start, Sarah?
Sure. I am Sarah Cobley. I am the mathematics chief here at headquarters, and very fortunate to be able to work with this group of ISSs.
Great.
I'm Wendy Sancho, and I'm from Fort Bragg.
Chalice Rickard from the Med District.
Kevin Papadines from Camp Lejeune.
Patty McNaughton from Bavaria.
Jeffrey Epstein from New York, Virginia, Puerto Rico.
Okay, and as you went through, obviously we've had representatives you represent both the United States and Europe, and you've served in the Pacific, right? And so what we try to do is bring in a global point of view, and that was the intent, to bring you here, is to provide that input from around the world. So what is this CCR, and how does it apply to mathematics? And if I'm an elementary school teacher, how is this going to change the way I approach my work? And Wendy, we'll start with you.
Well, I'd like to say that the CCR is kind of the cover for all of it, and that the standards is the foundation piece. And so as we move forward, there are other pieces that go into place, but the standards is what grounds us creating college and career ready students. And so they work together to move us in the right direction.
What's some of the products you worked on, Chalice?
We've been working on several presentations to help inform all levels of the agency. We've also worked on a gap analysis that will help us see the differences between our current DoDEA standards and the college and career ready standards for mathematics. We are also beginning to work on the curriculum framework. However, that's not ready yet, but we're in the beginning stages of that, and it will be ready.
Okay. Patty, what was the biggest takeaway you've had from this effort?
I think the biggest takeaway is that we as an ISS team have created a unified vision, and I think that's going to help us as an overall system to have that same vision.
Kevin, you spend time in schools. What do you think teachers would be most concerned about as we move to the pre-K 5 mathematics standards?
I think some of the misinformation out there is one of the biggest concerns. But one of the great things about what we're doing now is the thoughtfulness we put into this implementation program, the time we've spent getting things right, getting in place, and not rushing in or jumping in too fast should put everybody at ease, and I know it's put myself at ease.
There's at least 46 states in the District of Columbia who've adopted these standards, and they've been in any stage of implementation. And I think as director, what I could have done is just bought a package from a good state and just turned around and just did, this is what we're going to do. Jeffrey, what do you think? Why would that not be such a great approach?
Because we are DoDEA. We serve military-connected children, and it makes sense for us to create our own things for our own people, for our own environment. There are many great things that other states have done. They've done it very well, and we get to learn from them. We get to see their things and adapt it to us, but it should be ours because we serve a different community where we have children around the world. which is different.
Right, but we didn't start from, you all didn't start from scratch, right? Chalice, did you work on some, did you have some templates or examples from other states?
We did, and we do. We have, there are, as Jeffrey said, lots of really powerful tools and resources out there that we're using. We are adapting things to make them match our system. But yes, we are using, in particular, the curriculum framework from Massachusetts, along with some work that we have here in DoDEA, some curriculum guides that we had from a few years past, and we're putting everything together and creating the best possible product.
Now, you represent all of your peers, and you have the teacher's voice too. And you just happen to be here, but it's just not you six. Wasn't there more to this? Sarah, how many more people were here?
There was more to this, yes. A few weeks ago, we all gathered in Massachusetts with, I believe there were 45 of us, including 3 by phone, virtually, who couldn't be there. So they represented every area, all of our 14 districts, and including some teachers came. So we had a very productive week of learning about the college and career ready standards, excuse me, in some great depth. And then we shifted over to using that learning to starting to create some of these products from the beginning with everybody's input. We're really proud of what we're doing.
You should be. That's great. Were you skeptical, Wendy? Were you not sure what this is all about when you first got the call?
Maybe. Maybe. I've just been a part of DoDEA for a little while and just wanted to see how it was going to work out. And now that I've seen the plan, that we've included voices from all over the world at every level, from area directors to classroom teachers. I really think this is something that we can move forward with. I think this has all of our voices. You've got everybody here from all over the world. I mean, Fort Bragg looks very different than Bavaria. Yes, I think I was. But now that I'm seeing it, and I know through your leadership and through Sarah's leadership, I really think we can make this happen. And I think this would be excellent for our students. And that's ultimately what matters.
Absolutely. As a teacher, an elementary teacher, what is my biggest concern, Patty?
I think the biggest concern is probably the shifts that we're going to have to make in the classroom. Understanding those as a teacher, as well as helping parents to understand that.
And have you come across that when you have parents or grandparents helping their young children in other school districts where they come home and they come with, I know I have.
Absolutely.
When my granddaughter will say, could you help me out with this? And I'll look at it and say, well, here, let me show you the other way. And I'll do my traditional way. But that is a shift.
It is.
But is it manageable? You're going to have the right tools out there to help them?
Absolutely, and it's essential for our kids to have this different focus to be successful in our future.
And this is the first step of a very, very long process.
Right.
And I think from the start we talked about that we are eventually going to have college and career ready in all subjects. There's some confusion about Common Core, though. I hear that often. Do you have any reaction to that? Because the college and career ready curriculum and implementation of the standards, we sometimes confuse that with Common Core, and there's some confusion. Chalice, do you have any thoughts on that?
There's some confusion there. The question is, are the standards the same? And I think that once we begin the rollout, they'll understand that College and Career Ready is, as Wendy said, an umbrella to prepare our students for entry-level career or entry-level college, and that the Common Core are the basis for the standards that we call College and Career Ready standards.
So what I think I hear you saying from all of you is that this was a collaborative effort, that it's based on successful models, but it doesn't mean we just copied a model, and that it was done with preparing teachers to actually execute in classrooms. Is that right?
Yes. Absolutely.
So how do we, what's some thoughts that you would have when you get back to your place of duty, your area of responsibility, when you get into the classrooms and you talk to the teachers, what are you going to say? What's the main takeaway here? What's your message? Charles?
They're going to understand why we're doing this when they begin to implement and really see the transformation that takes place with kids learning, with their students learning. And I think that will be all the convincing we need to do to get people on board.
Kevin?
I think we're going to see a greater takeaway from the students, and I think when they start to really understand the conceptual math, that's going to sell the program itself. So we're going to create better mathematicians. It's going to pay dividends right up through 12th grade and into their colleges and careers, which is why we're doing CCR.
Jeffrey, what do you think?
I think that these standards will work very well simply because of the 3 key shifts: focus, coherence, and rigor. With the new standards, I do believe that our students will have a very deep dive into very serious, very important mathematical work, so that by the time they do reach high school, they'll be ready for the high school that's waiting for them.
Very good.
And I think that's very exciting. I think that high school teachers and middle school teachers will all be pleasantly surprised when they have a CCR prepared student in their classrooms.
Oh, very good. Wendy, you're nodding your head.
Change is difficult, and there will be some bumps in the road. There may even be some naysayers out there, and like our standards for math practice of persevering, we'll persevere and we'll be successful in this. We have the best teachers in the world working for DoDEA, and we can do this. And we'll move forward, and we will continue to provide stellar education for our children.
Sarah, it's tough to top that, but you were the person who put all of this together. So what's your perspective on this whole operation to date?
Well, it's very tough to top that. My takeaway is that this is going to be successful because you have set such a strong, powerful vision. You have said that this is our #1 priority, and then you allowed us to come together to continue to create that vision together, to base it on very rigorous standards, which are so important in mathematics, and to build this capacity that they will go forth and continue to say, and as we're doing training with principals, we're saying we have to say the same words. I think that's why it's going to work. So your vision is setting the course, and we're moving forward.
Well, vision means nothing until you actually put it together. And so I want to thank you for your efforts. And when I think of DoDEA and what we're doing for children and the right thing that we're doing for children, we start with the area directors and the superintendents and all the administrators, the principals who are the learning leaders in the schools. But we all get back to that classroom and we all see the teacher, and the teacher is going to make this happen. And so I think that your work with that in mind will make this a great first step, and we will build on this success as we fully implement College and Career Ready. And so I want to thank you for your efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.